Give up your pets to save the planet. Hello and welcome to the I Am a Werewolf channel. A couple days ago I put out a clip of this debate on the Good Morning Britain television show between Danica McCarthy and Julia Bradbury. And it's pretty freaking nuts. So let's watch the whole thing and break it down as we go. Alright.
Now, over the past year, pet sales have soared. It's thought the UK dog population alone has gone up by at least 10% during lockdown, now totalling more than 11 million. Wow.
And while most people have used the extra time at home to bond with their new pets, many environmentalists are calling for people to stop having pets altogether because that would save the planet. We're going to debate that in just a moment. Kira Durkin has the details.
We're a nation of pet lovers. More than half of us have one. But did you know our furry friends are contributing to climate change? Some researchers have found the eco-paw print of a dog is twice that of a typical SUV driven for 6,000 miles a year. The food...
Bullshit. Sorry.
For one pet pooch emits nearly twice as much carbon the average UK household uses in a year for electricity. And according to research by the Victoria University in Wellington, a cat's eco-footprint is roughly the same as a small car. Cat litter is also full of mineral-based products which are harmful to the environment, and the growing demand for plastic toys also contributes to environmental damage. But it's not just our pets. A single cow produces up to 120 kilograms of methane per year, and there's around 1.5 billion cattle worldwide. And it's this methane that's more damaging to our climate than the carbon dioxide produced by cars.
Poppycock. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Hold on.
So, is it time that we give up our pets in order to save our planet?
Joining us now is environmental artist Danica McCarthy, along with TV presenter and environmentalist Julia Bradbury. I'll come to you first, Donna, about this. I mean, Danica, sorry, you can't seriously be saying that pets are comparable with SUVs. Is that absolutely true? And we should be not replacing our pets when they pass away?
Well, there was a study done in the journal Biosciences last year in 2019 that stated the carbon emissions from the average dog is equivalent to the two households' electricity for a year. So we do have an issue here of carbon emissions associated with our pets. And so, like everything else, cars are convenient, flights are convenient, cats and pets are nice to have.
Just say what you want to say, buddy. Dogs and cats are convenient. Fucking guy.
But we have to think of the consequences behind them.
Yeah, but what are the consequences of what you're saying? I mean, people love their pets like members of their family. You know, we're a drain on resources as well. So...
I think it's really important to kind of like listen to that argument there. But people are a drain too. I mean, I don't know. It's really weird how they push that a lot in this. It's like, just watch.
You know, this has implications for everyone, doesn't it?
Sure. It's about love, isn't it? Behind that loving cat or dog that we have, there's a whole ocean of cruelty, whether it's the destruction of rainforests for the meat, the destruction of the seas for the fish to feed our cats. And the real problem is the numbers.
Yeah, but Danica, my point is you could be talking about human beings as well. I mean, it's one thing to give up your car, but you're not going to give up a loved member of your family, which frankly is what people consider cats and dogs.
Well, if we love our members of our family, if we love our kids, do you not accept we have to look after the climate crisis?
Firstly, I want to look after my kids and my pets. That's quite
shocking. That's quite shocking. Do you understand?
That's quite shocking. That's quite shocking. Oh my god, you hear this guy? It's very shocking. He's a nut. Just listen to this guy.
And the level of crisis that the carbon emissions are currently in the planet.
Do you think I shouldn't be looking after my children and my pets?
I'm saying that to look after and love your children, you have to look after your carbon emissions, because we are in an emergency. Even the government accepts we're in an emergency. The scientists have said we've passed the safe tipping point. This may mean by the middle of this century, and when our kids are just around 30 years old, they may be facing a planet that's facing starvation, floods, and climate destruction. We are in an emergency. We have to wake up to the seriousness of it.
So, because people like him say so, we have to do whatever it takes for the emergency. So, give up your pets and give up your children, possibly, from what he's saying there. I don't know. Just like it's these people, they're insane. Just look at his dead eyes, man. I don't even know what to say.
But it shouldn't have to be one or the other. And what Susanna is saying, you wouldn't say, well, okay, I care so much about the climate, I'm not going to no longer care about my children or have children or look after my children. You can do both things. And if we're going to say that pets are like our family members, and they are family members, then why do we have to choose? Why can't you have pets and just also do what you can?
We can give up a car, we can give up flights, but we can't give up something that we consider as close to us as a child, a pet.
Well, I'm sorry, you keep equating.
I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to give up all those things. The car, the flight, and the child, and the pet. We'll get to that in a bit.
Pet dog or pet animal with a human being, and that's actually quite anthrocentric. We have to accept that our selfishness in keeping these animals and pets cooped up, locked up, involves a massive amount of cruelty. Take, for example, a parrot. Normally it is a social animal, lives with 30 to 40 other parrots, but when a human being has it caged up in a cage, it receives maybe 15 minutes of love a day.
Based on what? 15 minutes? What are you talking about? Where's the study for that? A lot of people love their birds. I mean, they give those birds a lot of love. I mean, of course, the bird out in nature would be happy too, to be socializing with 40 other birds. But that's not the situation. It doesn't mean you have to give them all up just because they could be potentially happy in that situation. It's I don't know.
The fact is, many millions of cats
So
are
look
cooped
after
up.
them better then. I mean, I can understand that, but actually, let's talk to Julia Bradbury. Julia, you unfortunately have just lost a dog, a pet, a beloved pet. I mean, people do feel this. This is a different bond, isn't it, than you have with your car or with your annual holiday. And I know you're an environmentalist. You care very much about the planet, but not at the expense of your pets.
I do. I do. First of all, I'm grateful that Donica has raised an important issue. It's something I think that we perhaps haven't thought about a lot, which is what impact are our pets, our domestic pets.
Because it's absolute garbage. It's all your pets are getting secondary food products. Anyways, I have to stop, and it's making me angry. And I'll talk about it in a bit.
Having on the planet, and there are things that we can do to mitigate that. So, for example, a big problem with domestic cats is they kill birds, and this is something that owners are concerned about as well, because the birds get brought into the house, and I'm sure cat owners at home will have experienced this. There are things that you can do to try and prevent that, and to try and reduce those numbers, so you can keep them inside at certain hours, like before sunset and after sunrise. Put on a brightly coloured collar on a cat can help the birds escape, because they react to colours, and you can neuter your cats as well. So there are things that we can do. We can look for plastic-free packaging when it comes to feeding our cats. There are things that we can do to mitigate the impact of our pets. I think something that Donica is missing here when he's talking about the bond that we have with cats is, and with dogs and our pets, they aren't just about being an extension to us. It's not just an anthropomorphic, we want to look after something. Sometimes they have a very real important value in our lives that helps our mental health. And also, what do we do about guide dogs? Do we just get rid of all guide dogs who are helping people who are visually impaired? What do we do about special medical assistance dogs? I have a friend who has a neurological condition, and accidentally she found out that her dog can work out 5 minutes before she has a blackout. He knows when that is coming, and he calls the alarm. She can let her friends and family know, and then the dog protects her. That's Barna and Emily. It was an accident that they discovered this. It has been life-changing for her.
Animals
it's meant
have,
that she can...
yes, absolutely. Animals have special powers. Now, Donncha, as Julia was saying that, you were shaking your head. So do you have special exemptions for those pets that have a role?
Absolutely. I'm not saying people go out tomorrow and kill all of their pets. What I'm saying is that ideally, if you don't need your cat or your dog for mental health reasons or for blind people, you should seriously consider not replacing your cat when it passes away.
Okay, but Julia makes that point about those specific animals. I think everybody who has a pet would say they provide some kind of benefit to them. You know, whether that's a mental health benefit, whether that's an exercise benefit, you know, that all pets have that role.
Well, people argue the same, that the cars are really useful and flying around the world is really useful. What we need to do is to...
They're absolutely useful. What the hell are you talking about, guy? How do you get across the world without a plane? Do you swim? Like, you just don't need to travel, I guess. You don't need to go out of the country. What do you need to go out of the countryside for? You don't need to drive. You can walk, you can cycle. This guy's a piece of work, and he's been doing this for a long time, and he's been in part of a lot of movements, so we're gonna take a look at him after this.
I think in an emergency, we have to look at essential needs and essential requirements. And for people with mental health...
Can I assume that you have no pets?
I don't have any pets, but I have had a pet in the past. And as regards,
what did you feel, and what was your bond like with that pet?
My partner had a pet for 3 years, and I noticed that when my partner was out, the dog slept all day.
Because he had no, he never interacted with the dog. This guy has zero attachment to animals. You can tell that he probably never even petted the dog, and if he did, it would have been an awkward experience because clearly this guy has no soul or nothing. He's a monster.
We took him for a walk in the morning, took him out in the evening. When we visited his parents in the countryside, the dog absolutely abandoned us and was mad with energy, running around the other dogs all day long. And what I realized that day was that millions of dogs are cooped up in urban homes and pining away in horrendous lifestyles. They are pack animals.
People take their dogs at dog parks all the time, and they get rambunctious as well. I mean, of course animals are going to love being out in the nature, and you should absolutely take your animals out in nature as much as possible, just like you need to be out in nature as much as possible. But to say that, to make a claim like they're all cooped up in their homes all the time is just absolute nonsense. I have a lot of people who have pets. They love their pets to death, and they do a lot for them. They treat them like children, especially now in these times when people aren't having children and they're having pets as substitutes for that. They treat them like little children.
And so what I'm saying is that we need to look at a proper, responsible way to dealing with pets. And I would argue that most people don't need a pet.
Zoe
Most people don't need a pet.
on Twitter has said, I'd literally give up humans before my pets. I mean, I wonder, Donncha, if that's slightly what you're suggesting.
I wonder what she means by give up, but...
Donncha, did you decide to let the dog go to a different home, or did the dog leave you?
No, No, we separated. My partner took the dog with, and I resolved that day never to replace it. And just going back to the pleasure of animals, during lockdown, I live in central London. I had a nesting a pair of Dunnocks in my garden with 4 nestings. It actually provided a huge amount of comfort to me during lockdown. And then one day, as I was reading my book, I heard a screech, and the cat was eating the four nestlings, and I lost them. 23 million birds are lost.
So clearly he has a vendetta against cats now because it took his precious birds. You can hear it. He's pretty hurt by that.
To cats every year in the United Kingdom. If you love wildlife, you shouldn't have this massive number of dogs and cats in British.
Maybe stop putting bird feeders in your backyard if you're really concerned about the birds, because that's what most people do. They bring their birds to their homes. Keep them away. Don't give bird feeders out, or don't keep them out if you're concerned.
I just wondered, Donica, whether you're making an argument for better pet ownership rather than an argument that we should not have pets for the sake of the environment, because I think those are 2 different arguments.
I think you need to do
I
both.
had a very
You need
similar
to be
incident
more
in my
responsible
garden
about your
recently.
current pet, but you also need to actually consider not replacing the pet when it passes away. Julia made some good points about how you can actually improve your current pet ownership. You can actually now get pet food for cats that's based on insects, that doesn't involve dead fish or dead meat. You can also get more environmentally friendly cat litter and things like that. And make sure your dog during nesting season isn't allowed to run around, because they're destroying our ground nesting birds at nesting season, whether it's on the coast or our national parks.
Okay, Julia?
I echo absolutely what Donica says there. I think the issue that we're going to have is are we ever going to have a sort of a mass giving up of our pets, where we go, actually, yes, none of us are ever going to buy any pets again. So I don't think it's a realistic thing to expect human beings to do, because it
I wouldn't talk so soon, and we'll get into that.
goes against our loving feelings towards our pets. And I think that's the issue. Yes, we can be more responsible pet owners, but I just can't see a workable, enforceable way of us all handing in our cats and our dogs and going, that's it, we're over, our relationship's over with these creatures. And
I don't know. A lot of people say goodbye to their grandparents through a window or through an iPhone. So think about that.
I will just say again at the end about my friend who has this neurological condition. The family didn't know that the dog would have this positive impact on her lives and their lives, and it changed their lives. And sometimes you don't know how important the mental health or the medical assistance, or indeed dogs that are used for sniffing out crime as well, and illnesses that we know of. So I think this is a very complex area, and we can't just say.
Yeah, and those sniffing out jobs will be taken over by robotic dogs in the future. So, I don't know.
Let's get rid of all the pets.
Okay. Julia Bradbury, thank you very much. Donica, listen, my advice to you, Donica, honestly, I really think you should go to your nearest rescue dog home and get yourself a dog. I really think you should. And take the dog out for walks. You'll be doing a good thing, because that rescue dog is in a home. You can't let them out in the wild now, so...
Could you make an exemption for a rescue on environmental grounds?
Well, I'm saying if people are replacing their pet, obviously going to a rescue home is the way to go. However, I'll respond to Anil. I mean, that would mean my carbon emissions from my house doubles for electricity by just doing that one act. Do you not care about the climate emergency? Do you not care about the millions of people in Africa who are at the moment having their homes flooded?
Yeah,
do you not care?
But look, as we've already said, we're running out.
But the homes of Africa have always been flooded. What does that have to do with your pet? Nothing.
It's possible to care about the climate and care about dogs. I think you can care about more than one thing.
How do you eliminate the carbon emissions of the dog?
Well, go on, Donica. Go on. You can have the final word. Go on.
I'm just asking, how do I eliminate the carbon emissions of the dog?
Well,
I've got solar panels on my house.
The dog already exists, but it's just living in the rescue home at the moment. Anyway, Donica, thank you very much indeed. And Julia, thanks very much indeed. You can imagine what the...
Well, that was the debate. This guy, this Donica fellow, has been a very active person in Britain. He's actually quite well known because he's been a part of a lot of movements. Here's a video from 9 years ago. He's talking about the prostitute state or whatever. He's hard to understand, so I'm not going to even play that. But there was a short one of him at Extinction Rebellion event speaking. It's a short clip, so I'll just play it right now.
Extinction Rebellion has already made history. You guys and the amazing, peaceful, courageous arrestables and the lock-ons night after night after night have shown the police, they've shown London, they've shown Britain, and they've shown the world that we will no longer stand idly by as our Mother Earth burns. No more. The rebellion has started. They may remove the trucks, they may remove the boats, they remove the arrestables, but the rebellion is in our hearts. The boat is in our hearts, because we know we have run out of time.
Alright. He was also part of the Occupy Democracy movement. This is from 2014. That last video was 2019. I don't believe I said that. Let's skip ahead because well, I want to see him get arrested, basically. Here's him ranting like a lunatic.
This private corporation, the men with the red hats, they work for an international corporation called AOS, employed by Boris Johnson to shut down protest in Parliament Square. And these are the men who tell who to arrest. So the police don't decide who to arrest, it's a corporation, a private security corporation, is telling people who to be arrested. It's outrageous, and that's what Britain has come to. The billionaire extremist.
And then he doesn't put up much of a fight, he just goes out. Because he's a frail little man, so, I mean, what can he do?
Why are you arresting him? Why are you arresting him? Yeah, why are you arresting him? Why are you arresting him? Why are you arresting him? Yeah, why are you arresting him?
Why are you arresting him?
Why are you arresting him?
I'm here for democracy and to arrest Nick Clegg and arresting me instead.
Could we have those back, please?
Oh, why did you arrest my
You should be ashamed! Get out of the way! What are you doing? You've done nothing wrong! DRS! DRS! DRS!
animal?
Don't be silly.
What are you doing? You're all fascists!
Talking about democracy.
Sorry, go on.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Wait,
Leave me alone.
Daddy, filthy scum!
Oh, have you
Calm yourself, officer! Calm yourself!
Don't leave yourself. Leave her alone. Leave her. Officer! Remember your email, officer.
Stop! Get busy, Jenny!
Just doing your job, mate! Scum! 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 Never enough. I hate your mothers are proud, you dirty thugs! Intimidating the public! We're only trying to exercise our human rights to protest! dirty Nazi scum!
So, did you hear that ABAC, all cops are bastards chant there? That's interesting. It almost looked like a couple Antifa members back then, too. I saw some guys all ski masked up. Where was that? Is it back here? No. There was a couple of these two. There's one behind this guy. They're all... They look very Antifa-ish there. Yep. Totally. That's 2014. So yeah. He also... The Danica guy... Is he called Danica? Because it's like that D is silent in his name. It looks like Donna Chad H. Anyways, he recently, I don't have the article, but in 2020, I think it was September, him and Extinction Rebellion blocked the printing press for major news outlets in Britain. And this Danica guy is actually a columnist. It's worked at the BBC. And he's also here on Independent. This is his article. By owning a pet, you are doing more damage to the environment than you might realize. Truth-telling about pets can be a painful process, but cats and dogs particularly have a devastating impact on the planet. When pets can emit twice the carbon emissions of our homes, electricity, and kill up to 200 million wild prey in the UK every year, we cannot stay silent. Unfortunately, in many cases, pet ownership is simply another form of destructive consumerism. For obvious reasons, truth-telling about pets to friends can be a painful process, but it is not something we should shy away from. The People's Dispensary for Sick Animals, PDSA, conducts an annual survey of UK pet ownership. In 2019, they found that 50% of adults own a pet, with a staggering 10.9 million people owning a cat, up from 6 million in 1981. These figures increased during the lockdown. The Kennel Club reported a 25% rise in pet registrations, with people buying pets on impulse for company during lockdown. Many of these are now being abandoned as people go back to work. Isn't that funny? How these lockdowns boost up certain issues, and then we have a problem with that issue. Isn't that funny how this lockdown stuff works? It's like, what a great way to create a problem so you can have a solution ready at hand. It's almost like some kind of dialectic, what is it called? Oh, the Hegelian dialectic, that's right. Problem, reaction, solution. Of course. Anyways, this is completely out of sync with the natural populations of wild bird predators, is more than 20 times that of stoats and weasels and 38 times more than foxes. Densities of domestic cats can be as high as 2,000 per square kilometer in some urban areas. Now, I'm not going to argue, there's definitely a problem with pets in the urban areas, with people not getting them spayed or neutered. I mean, if you don't want to do that to an animal, I understand. But you need to keep that freaking pet from getting knocked up if you're not able to take care of those the kittens and stuff, or getting homes for them. It's a serious problem. I've done lots of rescue work last year, I think it was 2019, 2020. Between there, I did a lot of rescue work, and we rehomed many animals that we caught. We had to get them neutered and spayed because they just keep having pets over and over again, or having litters over and over again. It's just it's the only way you're allowed to adopt them out at that point when you're working with the rescue. we did fostering. I had up to 20 something cats in my house at one time. I believe that's counting my own cats as well. But yeah, it's a major problem, cats and dogs. So if you could just, you know, take care of your own pets in that situation, then this problem wouldn't be an issue. It wouldn't be an issue. There would be no problem. You're giving them fuel to take away your pets the more you're reckless with your pets, basically, is what I'm trying to say. In the bird populations, well, it's simple. Don't put bird feeders out if you are concerned about bird populations. Wild bird populations, because you're bringing them into your yard where cats can get them. Otherwise, they'd be out in the wild, and your pets would be in your yard. Unless you live close to the forest and your cat can roam or whatever. Other than that, you're not going to have an issue. I understand people like to feed their birds, but I mean, that's one way to take care of that problem, is to limit that, or I don't know. That's really the only solution I can think of that makes sense, other than keeping your cat in at certain hours so that you can avoid them catching the birds. Like the birds aren't going to be out at night, so restrict your cat during the day, let them prowl at night if you have an outdoor cat. But outdoor cats live a lot shorter lifespans. It's harder on their bodies in urban areas. So, and I don't know how long ferals live for. I can't imagine it's that long. I've rescued a few ferals. Sorry, I can't even talk. Ferals, and I've actually rehomed a few because I was able to domesticate them enough that they were functional around people. I even own a feral. His name's Earl, and he's a great cat. He's spooked, but whenever it's feeding time, he loves pets. Then, anyways, way off track. The Mammal Society estimated that 1998 that 63 million small mammals, frogs and snakes, and 27 million birds were killed every year by UK cats. House sparrows, blue tits, thrushes, and blackbirds are among the most common killed. Another UK study estimated that each cat kills 18.3 wild prey each year. This would equate to 200 million wild mammals and birds killed in 2019, including 54 million birds. Of real concern is the vulnerability of endangered bird species and habitats close to urban cats. When some species are down to the last few dozen, everyone lost to a cat predation may be a final step to extinction. The study also showed cats only consumed 24% of their prey, 28% was brought home to their owners, and the rest just left where it was killed. Another 9.9 million of us own dogs. While the impact of one dog or cat may not be huge, the collective impact of the UK 20.8 million pets and nearly 250 million globally is enormous. I've designed my garden to be nature-friendly during lockdown. A dunnock's nest perched on the ivy swaddling my garden shed gave me enormous pleasure. As the parents flew in and out feeding their young, just a meter from where I sat reading in the sun, until of course it was ravaged by the neighbors' numerous cats. I was heartbroken. Likewise with my frogs. A parade of cats sit patiently by my pond. Shoo them away, buddy. You're watching them. Devour any frog that mistakenly emerges to rummage in the hedges. I just picture a whole lineup of cats just waiting at his pond. Oh my, this guy's a turd. I hadn't not known that frogs scream until one day I heard a heart-rending screech, and a frog leapt onto the paper I was reading on the grass, fleeing from the cat hunting it. But it's not just wildlife. 20.8 million dogs and cats consuming just one tin or unrecyclable plastic package of cat food per day results in 7.6 billion containers being manufactured each year just in the UK. Add to this another 3.6 billion plastic bags for picking up the estimated 1.4 million tons of dog poop, and then there's the issue of disposing of 200 million tons of cat waste. Most clumping cat litter is made from bentonite clay, which is an unrecyclable material. We got all this in the video at the beginning, which removes trees and soils to get at the clay. Then, of course, there is the actual high carbon, high cruelty fish, chicken, and meat that goes into the tins and packets that eventually produce the poop. The meat contents of dog and cat diets at about 33%, ding ding, is significantly higher than that of the average American human diet at about 19%. All this comes with a significant carbon impact. A 2019 study reported that the average Dutch dog's carbon emissions just for food were up to 1.4 tons and cats were up to 0.25 tons. This is nearly double the annual electricity carbon emissions for the average UK household just for dog food, and about a third of households' electricity emissions for the average cat food. My tough message is that UK cannot achieve its carbon goals or protect the remaining scraps of biodiversity if we maintain this unsustainable huge number of pets. So please gently tell your friends not to get a new pet or to replace their current pet when it passes to pet heaven, unless they absolutely have to. I actually don't argue the whole litter thing, the cat litter thing. The cat litter is nasty. See, what I do, because I have a high volume of cats, and I've been doing this, actually I've been doing it before I had a high volume of cats, for about 10 years. I've been using pine pellets. Pine pellets, these are these little condensed little wood pellets that are often used for like wood stoves and stuff like that. You can burn them and stuff. But they do have cat brands, but those are super expensive. What I do is I get my pine pellets at like Canadian Tire or whatever. It's like $6 a bag for like 40 pounds of pellets, and I've got my cats using that. So their pee, cat pee, will just break down the pellets into like a sawdust material, and then just crap in it as well. And yeah, it's way healthier than on the cats, because the regular cat litters, those clumping cat litters, are terrible for their lungs and their health, and they smell way nastier too. So I been using pine pellets. I suggest that you'd save way more money if you use those, and it's way better for the environment or whatever, and health. I mean, I didn't know about the bentonite clay because I don't use regular cat litter. I don't use actual cat litter, so. But yeah, that's something that can be changed. I mean, there's a lot of different options out there too if you do want to buy store-bought alternative litters, like the newspaper or whatever. And I think there's like weird ones like cornmeal. I don't think that's a better choice, but I'd go with the pine pellets. I mean, if you're trying to switch your cat over, you want to like slowly introduce the pine pellets into their regular litter and just kind of add more of it every time. Maybe like do it once a week, like add a bit more, depending on how well your cat adjusts to it. Anyways, that's my tips for cat litter. And his mention about tins and packaging, well, that shit gets recycled, so whatever. Whatever, dude. Let's look at his profile on Twitter. So, yep, he's got the Extinction Rebellion all up in his game there. He's also like big on the stop killing cyclists bandwagon or whatever. I guess he co-authored a book. He also, The Prostitute State, I guess, is a book. How Britain's democracy was bought. I mean, he's an eco-auditor, eco-columnist for Independent. I don't know what this is. Let's click. Eco audits. So he kind of is involved. Wow, look at the creepy smile on that guy. He does eco audits for charities, businesses, and the schools. Areas covered: heating, thermal imaging on premises, electricity, energy carbon footprint, purchasing, transport, water, food, human resources, management policies, waste, renewables. So yeah, this guy, he's hardcore in it. He also offers eco workshops, community eco auditor training, home eco auditor training, keynote speaker, books and DVD, corporate eco events, article writing, TV, radio commentary, eco house tour, and apparently I don't have the article, but he appeared on a TV show. It Ain't Easy to Be Green or something like that. Let's see if we can find it. I think that's what it's called. We'll try it. Well, I'm just curious, so I'll take a quick look. What the heck? Why is Kermit the Frog popping up? Is that it? That could be it. Documentary series about a family's attempt to go green. The Strawbridge family, inventor and engineer Dick, his planet-loving wife Bridget, James, Charlotte, and some other people. Let's look for this guy. What's his name? I already forgot. Oh, maybe I'll just see it in the cast here. This was not part of my plan, so there he is. Yep. They spelled his name different. It's like Donacha. Donacha. Appears as himself. One episode. Episode 1.1. So he's on TV. He's a TV show guy. I've actually, before I saw this debate, I was kind of slowly prepping myself to do a video like this, talking about their plan to get rid of your pets. And it was started when I saw this article. Well, actually, it didn't start here because I said it before that. Because I had, yeah, well anyways, we'll get in that, but I was starting to gather materials, and this was the first thing I saw in the news, and was starting to gather it up. Carbon paw print, a man's best friend, the planet's enemy. The planet's enemy? Question mark. Some cute cats on the screen. Is your adorable puppy as bad for the planet as a gas-guzzling SUV? Well, the precise carbon paw print of our pets is the source of scientific debate. One thing is becoming increasingly clear: lovable they may be, cats and dogs have an impact on the planet. In their book, 2009 book, Time to Eat the Dog, Brenda and Robert Vale sparked. They didn't sparkle. They sparked anger among pet owners for saying that the meat eaten by an average canine companion had twice the carbon footprint as driving an SUV 10,000 kilometers. Their estimate's much higher. A decade on, the verdict is still out in the planetary impact, linked to the diets of cats and dogs. I've got nothing against pets, said Gregory Oken, professor at the University of California's Institute of Environment and Sustainability. I know they bring a lot of good to people, both working animals and companion animals, but I believe that for people who want to make informed choices, they should have information available to them, he told AFP. In a 2017 study, Oken estimated that the 160 million domestic cats and dogs in the U.S. were responsible for between 25 to 30% environmental impact of meat consumed in the country. Yeah, right. That's 64 million tons of CO2, equivalent to the annual emissions of 13 million petrol or diesel cars. Kelly Swanson, a professor in animal nutrition at the University of Illinois, disputes the findings of that study, says the calculations were based on a lot of inaccurate assumptions because most pet foods are based on secondary products from the human food industry, especially the ingredients that are animal-based. The environmental costs of those ingredients are not the same as those being consumed by humans. Yep. For Sebastian Lefebvre, I don't know how to say that name, from Lions Vet Argo, no, Vedgaro, I can't say that, man, what? Veterinary school, carbon emissions from conventional mass-produced animal food was negligible. He said emissions from pet food would only be a concern when mankind stops food waste and becomes completely vegetarian. Well, no, you'd have to go vegan to, yeah, whatever. He said that unfashionable cuts of meat, including offal, I never know how to say that word. I think I've looked it up. It's like offal, which many humans turn their noses up at, would be ideal for pet food in order to avoid waste. Yet in some countries, including Netherlands, meat is reared specifically for animals' consumption. Geography matters. Pim Martens, professor of sustainable development in Maastricht University, said that as with humans, animal carbon footprints depend on where you live in the world. In a 2019 study, Martens found the lifetime emissions of a dog weighing 10 to 20 kilograms in the Netherlands was anywhere between 4.2 and 17 tons of CO2 equivalent. For the same dog living in China, emissions were between 3.7 to 19.1 tons. In Japan, however, the same dog would be expected to produce 1.5 to 9.9 tons during its life. 10 tons of CO2 is roughly the same as the emissions produced by 2 cars every year. But Martens said he doesn't find that comparison useful. Would that mean that if you don't own a dog or a cat, you can drive an SUV or drive more in your car? It doesn't make any sense. But scientists can agree on at least one thing. A large dog logically eats more than a small cat and therefore has a bigger environmental impact. Well, duh. Get a bird instead? No, apparently you can't have a bird either, according to Donica. So what can the environmentally conscious animal lover out there do to mitigate the damage caused by their furry friends? I can suggest considering other species of animals that have pets, such as hamsters or birds. Maybe from the ecological paw print point of view, everyone should get a lizard or a big spider instead of a dog, said Martin. But if you don't want to have an ecological paw print, don't have a pet at all. One solution for animals on the planet would be to cut down on diversify the protein in their diet. Several dried food producers already use insects in their kibble, although there is still debate over the environmental merits of various animal foods in their production. Dude said it's not impossible, theoretically, to turn your pet dog vegetarian under supervision from your vet. But there's one environmental impact from outdoor cats he said he knows can't be avoided. Massacre of all around your home, dead birds, shrews, lizards. My cats have never killed anything. Well, I had a dog that killed a mouse once, but my cats don't kill anything because my cats are wusses and don't rarely go outside. And when they do, they just like to wander around. And I have lots of mice because I have 2 big compost bins outside my back door, and shitload of mice live behind there. Anyways, let's get on to the ingredients of pet food, shall we? Because this is how we tear down their BS argument for pet food, the meat consumption nonsense that they say, and the impact. It's total BS. We're not going to read this whole article because to save time and my voice, of course. So this is just some website talking about food ingredients, and it's talking about the standards are different when it comes to FDA and all that stuff, and their terminology doesn't mean what it means. So when they say food on pet foods and stuff, it really means feed. So it's feed grade, not food grade. So pet food, I'm just going to start reading it now. Wait, so pet food isn't technically food. Not as far as the FDA regulations go. Dog food is not subject to the same scrutiny, regulation, and rule enforcement that applies to actual food. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, food has to be officially edible to be deemed safe for human consumption, which means it's produced according to a set of FDA guidelines. Pet food or feed does not have to meet these standards and does not have to be officially edible. What is my dog actually eating when I buy a bag or can of pet food? Feed can include meat that is expired, diseased, or contaminated with drugs. Pet food, kibble, and canned food is typically made from parts of animals left over from the process of making human food. This can include hide, hair, bones, digestive systems, udders, beaks, and the like. But other stuff gets in there too. While diseased and other adulterated meats aren't technically allowed in pet food, they can and do end up in kibble and canned food. How? Parts of sick animals, roadkill, things like expired packs of meat, wrapping included, in restaurants' grease, and may be used in pet food via the process of rendering. See sidebar below. The best example of rendered products, and one that's commonly found in commercial pet food, is meal, usually listed in the ingredients list as chicken meal or beef meal. There's really nasty stuff, and I used to do research on this like many years ago, like 6 or 7 years ago. I've done research on this stuff, so I already knew about this. But yeah, it's good to bring this back up if you're someone that doesn't really know about this stuff, because you're feeding you could be doing serious damage to your pet, really. Oh, he even mentions it here. I didn't read this whole article, but I've got lots of I got a few things that will shock you. Because of the feed designation governing pet food, all manners of things that should not go into food can be allowed in your dog's food. The FDA says that adulterated food may be diverted into animal feed, including pesticide contamination in excess of typically allowed levels, contamination by industrial chemicals, natural toxicants, or filth, unpermitted drug residues, or rodent, roach, or bird excreta, so poop. Even euthanized animals, including pets, can make their way into kibble. Oh yes, this is very true. Along with the deadly drugs still in their systems, according to a November 2015 report by the Cornucopia Institute, a non-profit national food and farm policy watchdog group, loopholes in FDA regulations specify that no regulatory action will be considered for animal feed ingredients resulting from the ordinary rendering process of an industry, including those using animals which have died otherwise than by slaughter, provided they are not otherwise in violation of the law. In plain terms, there are no regulations against using euthanized animals if they find their way into feed via the rendering process, and evidence shows that that's exactly what happens. The FDA has found pentobarbital, the drug used to euthanize pets, in at least 30 different dog foods. So that's that article. And I had a few all about this, which I'm not going to read them all to save time. Dog food recall: FDA finds deadly pet euthanasia in several common brands. This is a 2018 one, so it's still happening, because I have a video from like 2009 or 2007. They still haven't fixed this problem. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has found a euthanasia drug in several brands of dog food, leading some brands to issue a voluntary recall and causing concern among pet owners. The FDA says that such a low level of this drug in pet food is unlikely to seriously harm pets. However, no amount of sodium pentobarbital, a common lethal drug used to put animals to sleep, is acceptable in pet food, the agency warns. And not to mention, it'll accumulate in their system when you're feeding them, I don't know, 2-3 times a day for, months and years on end. The J.M. Smucker Company, famous for Smucker's jam, has responded to this report by issuing a voluntary recall of the tainted food products, or pet foods they sell. Pet foods with labels, gravy. Okay, we don't need to go into this because it's just gonna... Anyways. This is an article from 2010. We're going back in time, by the way. Worst horrors of pet food on video. I don't know the source of this video. It was received in Google Alert for pet food. I do know it is hard to stomach. The video is okay. This is probably, I haven't read through this. Yeah, this is just talking about the video I have watched way back when I was doing my research, and I was fortunate to find it just recently, just in time to do this recording. If you are uncomfortable with seeing anything, you know, dead stuff, like I don't remember live things being killed or anything in this. This is all dead stuff. They're going to show you people's pets being rendered into pet food. So if you find that kind of thing uncomfortable, maybe just sit out for the next, I believe it's 4 or 5 minutes long. Yeah, it's 5.5 minutes long, so you might want to skip this part. Doesn't believe they have any sound. Body bags in veterinary clinic's freezer. Bradley. Much love, Bradley. A silent undercover video shot in Los Angeles in April of 2007 offers indisputable proof. So worker dumps body bags from a veterinary clinic into a barrel. This is the exact video I watched way back when I was doing my research. Workers throw dead dogs from a... Maybe I can make this a better quality. Because it is... Nope, that's the best I can get. So, worker throws dead dogs from the veterinary clinic into a barrel. And get them in the barrel. It's very poor quality, but I mean, this is back in 2007, so what do you expect from a mobile phone or whatever your body cam? He throws the body into a barrel. Okay. So we got, if you look right there, that's a dog just sticking out, and there's restaurant bags. I think there's a dog there too. It's such poor quality. And then dumping the animals out of the barrel. That's a dog's ear. Yep, that's a whole dog. There's dogs. That's a pile of dogs and some bags. Dead dogs, cats dumped near grinding pit. Worker takes Maul's tag off him before dumping his body near the pit. They don't often even do that. They leave collars on everything. Investigator takes a collar with a tag on it off a dead dog. Barrels full of eggshells and maggots. That also goes in your dog food. Pet food. Overflowing barrel of dead cats and dogs. Sorry if this bothers you, but this is a fact. Waste and dead animals piled near the pit. It's actually a good thing that it's such poor quality, because you'd be a lot more disturbed by it if you could see it in good quality. Waste and dead animals. Okay, same thing. Piled near pit. And the pit. It just says the pit. Fork loads of them. Waste and dead animals. Okay, it just says piled near the pit again. That's a lot. Imagine the smell. And the grinder. Almost done. And there they go. Getting ground up. Remains coming out of the grinder. It looks just disgusting. That's a lot. Like, imagine they do that all day. Remains of the bin after going through the grinder. Protein meal cookers. Protein meal, the finished product. Just looks like a pellety, like little pellets almost. So yeah, that was that. And here we have for proof, be sure to also watch the chilling video interview below with Herschel Pendel, president of the Association of American Feed Control Officials, the regulatory arm of the pet food industry. Admittedly, the film is dated, but the message in this should dispel any doubt of this possibility. In any case, this is why I always suggest consumer avoid products made with anonymous meat meals and animal fats, and stick with species identified ingredients. Should get some sound with this. This is only 44 seconds.
Holsteins here. Hersch Pendel is the current president of the Association of Feed Control Officials, a group made up of North American agriculture and animal feed specialists. AFCO writes ingredient definitions and suggests nutritional guidelines for pet food makers.
Pet food industry.
Pendel says he's not aware of any written law or regulation at any level, specifically prohibiting the use of rendered products which contain dead cats and dogs.
Aesthetically, it may not be acceptable, but nutritionally, it's still protein.
Can we tell what's in pet food just by looking at the label?
There's no way to really tell that, because if the ingredient says meat and bone meal, you don't know if that's cattle or sheep or horse or fluffy. These are
or fluffy. All right, so I'm done with all that. Let's briefly touch on one more article. Just more programming. This one's from February 4th. Being kind to dogs is racist, university professor says. Treating dogs humanely is racist, according to a leftist university professor, Katja Gunther. Now, this is obviously a right-leaning news outlet, so you get a slanted view, but it's still, without a doubt, the BS they push. Gunther has published a book claiming that white supremacy is to blame for non-white people abusing animals. Of course, because white supremacy for everything, is it not? Aeromagazine.com reports in her recent book, The Lives and Deaths of Shelter Animals, Katja Gunther claims that dogs are being killed because of capitalism, anthroparchy, I've never heard that word, white supremacy, and patriarchy. She argues that allowing dogs to sleep inside is a privilege reserved for the white and wealthy, and that policies against keeping dogs chained up in the backyards are intended to oppress people of color by imposing middle-class norms of animal keeping in which companion animals are considered family and treated accordingly. which ignore the fact that people of color are themselves trapped in poverty, may have few options for legitimate income generation, and possibly rely on their dogs for status. Unfortunately, Gunther's misguided book is gaining traction. Shelter director Kristen Hansen opines that Gunther gets it right in concluding that racism, classism, and the caste system are the heart of the broken animal sheltering institution, arguing that laws to prevent mistreatment of dogs discriminate against anyone in the U.S. other than white middle-class and upper-class individuals. Sloan Haas, Tess Hoop, and Kevin Morris of the University of Denver Institute for Human-Animal Connection cite the book in their proposal to relax enforcement on animal protection laws, a proposal that threatens to reverse decades of hard-won progress. Anyways, it just goes on saying how this person is nuts, which they are, because this is all BS, but I think it's deeper programming of people to alienation of people to their pets, because, quite frankly, this actually ties in with migration, mass migration, because a lot of people in those cultures overseas, in the Middle East and stuff specifically, they're not really big on like dog ownership and stuff. I don't think many of them have dogs, and a lot of them are afraid of dogs, I've noticed. And I think this kind of fits in with that. They're kind of programming you to give up your pets because of the massive population change, the demographic shift that they're creating. So yeah, I want to move on from that. Here's my prediction. I've had this in my head a long time because of the movie Planet of the Apes. Now, it's really hard to find the clip. I can't find it on YouTube, so I had found a comic strip. It took me a while to find it, but then when I found it, I made this post on November 8th of 2020. A plague that wiped out the family pets. One more thing that still brings comfort to us, that brings out our humanity, something they have been hinting since the beginning of the scamdemic. I believe that I posted this in a reaction to a tweet by the Ice Age Farmer, but his tweet no longer exists. Pretty sure I'll try this again. It's not available, but I don't know. I'm just gonna try it anyway. No. Oh, someone did it. Nice job, bud. Way back in '72, this particular program. It must have been something with I don't remember what his post was. It was so long ago. Whatever it was, it made me think of that, and I posted it. Or quoted the tweet. So in the comic strip, oops, I clicked it. Okay, got it. So here's Tabby and Rover in loving memory of 1982. They all died within a few months, 9 years ago. Every dog and cat in the world. It was like a plague, but it was actually a mysterious virus brought back from outer space by one of the astronauts. No existing vaccine or antidote could stop it. I also remembered seeing this way back when, of last year. Kim Jong-un orders North Carolins North Koreans to hand over pet dogs so they can be used as meat. North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, or Kim Kong, I thought it was, they called him Kim Kong-un. What? Kim Kong-un? Has ordered citizens to hand over their pet dogs. I just think of King Kong. I can't stop thinking about King Kong now. So they can be killed for food. This was back when they were starting to hint at food shortages, and they were destroying crops. And they're still doing that. Everything's getting ruined. And we're going to see the food shortage in 2022 for sure. If not, we'll see the early, if not sooner, in like late 2021. We're going to see it for sure in 2022, because that lines up right with Soylent Green. But that whole... in the pet world, I had thought of this earlier, they've been Soylent Fido forever. So, I mean, what's next? The hermit state says pet dogs are now considered a decadent luxury and a tainted trend by bourgeois ideology and must be surrendered, according to a report by South Korea's chosen Ilbo media outlet. The outlet says the move is likely designed to quell public anger over the country's economic tailspin. A source told the outlet that Kim made the order in July. Authorities have identified households with pet dogs and are forcing them to give up or forcibly confiscating them and putting them down, the source said. Once the pets are rounded up, it's reported some go to zoos and some are sold into the restaurant trade, where dogs are regularly consumed. Pyongyang, the Daily Mail reports, has a number of specialized dog eateries. Chosun-Ilbo reports that although pet ownership was long frowned upon in North Korea, the state has seemed to relent since the late 1990s, when the rich of Pyongyang started owning pets as symbols of superiority. Oh, there you go. There's your North Korean supremacy there, superiority there, having pets, white supremacy, Korean superiority. According to the source, ordinary people raise pigs and livestock on their porches, but high-ranking officials and the wealthy own pet dogs, which stoked some resentment. Crop damage, so they talk about the crop damage of that year, blah blah blah, and we need to eat your pets. And then I found this one today, so I figured, hey, I should look up if there was any other things about pets being ordered to take away. China orders citizens to get rid of their pets or risk having them culled amid fears that animals could catch coronavirus. This was, wow, January 31st of 2020. That was very, very early on. It was updated in February 1st. So a couple days later. Communities around China have ordered their residents to stop keeping pets or risk getting them culled, amid fears that animals could also catch the new coronavirus that has killed 213 in less than 3 weeks. Mail Online can reveal. Residential committees, village officials, and companies from various provinces and municipalities issued the strict order to locals after receiving instructions from their superiors to tackle the epidemic. It has emerged. One village in Hebei urged all the households to deal with their pets within 5 days, otherwise officials would handle them altogether. While another residential committee to Shanxi instructed people to consider the overall situation and dispose of their cats and dogs immediately, according to notices supplied to Mail Online. The news came as China's top expert for infectious diseases warned that pets would also need to be quarantined should they be exposed to coronavirus patients, causing fears that animals could also catch disease. The World Health Organization, however, claims that it has not seen any evidence of the virus being passed on to cats or dogs. Well, we all know what happened with that, right? In Wuhan, the ground zero of the coronavirus outbreak, one neighborhood banned its residents from letting their cats, dogs, and livestock leaving their homes. In a flyer posted in the communities, local officials threatened to catch, kill, and bury their animals on the spot if they spot any. The authority of one residential complex in Shanghai forbade its residents from feeding stray animals to enforce the control and prevention of the epidemic. A separate document reads, similar commands have appeared in provinces and municipalities across the country, including Beijing, Tianjin, Shandong. I apologize, I can't pronounce your words. Your places. According to animal welfare organization Humane Society International, Chinese firm promotes dog masks for owners concerned. And I was just about to talk about that. You remember those pictures of the dogs and the cats in the masks? Just think, people say they won't give up their pets, right? They were, like I said, willing to let their grandparents die alone in a hospital because of a virus. quote unquote. All they gotta do is say that it's mutated and it's now in your pets. And guess what will happen? They'll be taking them away, just like they did in China, just like they did in North Korea. Is he gonna show a dog in a mask? Oh god. Wow. How are you gonna fetch the ball? He didn't. He didn't even bother. Alright, shut up. Oh my goodness. How stupid is that? Look at this poor animal's face. I don't want to read any more of this crap. And let's wrap this up with my final thing. Final couple things. And that's the whole... What do they replace the pets with if they take them all? Well, I covered this article 2 years ago. It was all about loneliness. CES 2017, a robot for every kind of loneliness. His name is the iPal. The Avatar Mind iPal robot for children, elder care, and hospitality. Retail is the size of a small child. It's creepy as heck. It weighs 28 pounds, has 4 wheels and 5 microphones to hear you better, spy on you. Throughout its body, its chest is a screen the size of a cell phone. On the screen are several options for children's entertainment, all in Chinese. It isn't wearing any clothing. Its body is molded into the shape of a cartoon psychic space costume. I press on the robot's sides harder. It's harder per the man's instructions. Still nothing. There's a creepy little robot you just want to punch. Oh yeah. I made the point that Alexa has 7 microphones, but this one has 5, so it's not quite an Alexa, but it's pretty close. The iPal is designed to provide companionship for children and the elderly who don't get enough attention from other human beings because, lo and behold, now they're in lockdown, so this is a perfect thing to invent years before. It's like they knew. It's currently being tested with patients at a long-term care facility in Ontario. Oh my goodness, things are in my country. I don't even remember that. That's creepy. The man in the green striped tie explains that if successful, the elderly and lonely across Canada might soon have access to their own kid-sized creepy robot that was going to murder them to sleep. A little wheeled friend who reminds them to take their pills, call the ambulance if they fall down, and be programmed to play entertainment from the 1940s on its screen or sing old-timey songs. Oh, yay. I know this isn't a pet, but it replaces pets. It replaces kids, so I guess that's even worse, but let's skip on. Yeah, this keeps coming up to me in my mind all the time. This is what the people are going to turn into. Actually, they won't be allowed to be fat, though. But they will be as incompetent at doing things as these people. Searching for a cure, Japan's loneliness epidemic. A cute little robotic seal thing. Baby seal. Hayashu Yuraki points to the white fluffy seal on the table in front of us. You should also sing to it, she instructs me. As I start singing, the seal looks up, blinks at me, and gently coos. A smile spreads across Yuraki's face. This is Paro, a robotic seal in Tokyo's Silver Wing Care Facility, aimed at providing residents like Yuraki with therapy and social interactions. Yuraki won't give her precise age, she'll only say 80-something. She often says that, but actually she's 99 years old. The care facility manager, Yurikari, interjects, we all share a laugh. I said, isn't it basically a Furby? It's no iPal, but the same replace idea for filling that void of family that results in generations of anti-family programming. I was talking about anti-family programming, but this could easily apply to anti-pet programming. Loneliness is a big issue in the country of 127 million. So let's talk about Japan, which has the oldest. It's actually not 127 million, 27 million anymore. It's more like 126 million. Probably going to be down to 125 million in no time. The statistics focusing on loneliness in Japan are scarce, but as estimated, 6.24 million Japanese people over 65 and a total of 18.4 million adults, twice as many as 30 years old, live alone. By 2040, 40% of the country's inhabitants will be solo dwellers. And yeah, sex robots, blah blah blah. Yeah, talk more about Paro. There's another creepy thing I want to show you before we move on. This freaking nightmare here. Tech giant SoftBank Robotics produces the Pepper robot, a humanoid designed to provide companionship, which some have taken to integrating into their family as substitute children or grandchildren. At the Silver Wing Care Facility, Pepper is in charge of the midday exercise session. Big freaking nope from me. Oh, and here's I've talked about this before. Actually, I don't know if I've ever done a video about it before, but I definitely I wrote 2 articles about the Gatebox Virtual Home Robot, which is this little creepy little espresso machine looking thing with a little hologram in it, and it's your like a little waifu character, and she's, you know, pretty big in Japan. Your little iWife, your homunculus, digital homunculus, right there. Anyways, that was then. I grabbed this article earlier when I was prepping for this. So this is like some company providing these creepy real looking dolls, pets. This video is ridiculous looking. The faces on them when they're petting these things. Do they think it's a real animal? Like, are they nuts? I have to watch this video. Let's click it and see. What do we get? Oh, that's loud.
Wouldn't it be nice to bring joy, happiness, and comfort to your aging loved ones?
Yeah, you're a good girl.
With lifelike fur, authentic sounds, and realistic reactions that fill their hearts with love and laughter.
This is the kind of a dog to have.
I have a surprise for you. Oh, it's really something. It makes you feel happy.
Joy for All companion pets make joy, comfort, and companionship happen.
They make you feel that you're not alone. She makes you feel soothed. The purring is very comforting.
He's got a smile that anybody would love.
Give the gift of joy and comfort with Joy for All companion pets.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Oh my god, her face. Wow, did I give her some soma before they made this video? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's move on. I had a little search up just to see some of the articles out there. So, robot pets lead the charge in battling dementia, patient loneliness. They always go after the old folks because they're the ones that suffer the most with the lockdown stuff, of course. Meet the Alpha Dog. Chinese company develops robo-dogs daily. Sabah. Meet the Alpha Dog, a robotic response to 2 of China's burgeoning loves, pets and technology. The high-tech hound uses sensors and stuff to kill you. Oh wait, no, that probably wasn't in there. Want to get along with robots? Pretend they're animals. Humans are already forming complex bonds with robot pets, and even this is companion robots filling the role of an actual pet, a cat or a dog. Why do we need to fulfill that role? Maybe there's something that's in the future that we're gonna lose all our pets, and we're gonna want these robots. You think maybe there's something there? Or... No, that's crazy talk. No, pets are never going away. Nope, they'll never take our animals away. There's nothing that there's not gonna be any plague. And this just says it all there. Look at that picture. If there was a good dog, it would tear that robot apart. But it looks like the robot's walking the dog. That's fantastic. Let's watch that. Oh, sorry, it's so loud. What's it say? Oh, we gotta go back. A Chinese tech company is developing a robot dog that guides visually impaired people. Oh, that's one of the things that the lady said on the Good Morning Britain. That human, or not human, living animals or living dogs are essential for. But wait, they're making a robot that does that. Guess the real dog won't be essential anymore? You think? It also says it also guards the home from intruders and shoots them down. Oh wait, it doesn't say that. Based on sensors and artificial intelligence, the robot can be set to be extremely creepy through the voice commands of owners, and you can kick it. It's fast. Wow. That's wild. Based on sensors and artificial intelligence, Chinese tech companies developing robot dogs that can guide visually impaired people and guard homes from intruders like real pets. Oh goody. So you won't need to have one. Let's go back. I think you get the point. This alpha dog thing is something I'm going to look into because I haven't seen this one. And it looks, I don't know, it looks pretty good quality, actually. It looks like, I don't know, I can see this one making it to market, you know, definitely in China or Japan. But this one has a look to it that just seems like it would make the cut. What's his name? Spot is like 75 grand. If they can get the cost down on that sucker, it'll probably end up in other people's homes. But this thing, I don't know how much that thing costs. So I'm gonna have to look into the alpha dog. Meet the Alpha Dog. Chinese company develops robo-dogs. I had the article already, I guess. Chinese tech company came out with a new product this year. One of the fast obeys commands and doesn't leave unpleasant surprises on the floor. Meet the Alpha Dog. Robotic response to China's. Okay, I read that. The high-tech hound uses sensors and artificial intelligence to hear and see its environment and can even be taken for walks. So everything we said in the video. Moves at a speed of almost 15 kilometers per hour and spins on the spot like an excited puppy. Is the fastest on the market. With 4 metal legs, it is more stable than a real dog, Ma explains as one of this team's swifty kicks to prove the point. It can predict the friction and height of the ground, adjust its height, adjust the stride frequency, and adapt to the environment, he tells Agence France Press, AFP. As the robot slowly navigates going up a set of stairs, its creators are using 5G technology, super fast internet speeds with immediate reaction times to make the dog operate autonomously. Ma studied reinforcement learning, the study of how to reinforce actions through reward or punishment, at the University of Oxford, and says he has used that knowledge to inform how the AI dog mimics canine habits. Dog ownership was banned under the leadership of what? Dog ownership was banned under the leadership of Communist China's founder Mao Zedong, but has since boomed dramatically. Wait a minute. Are you saying a communist dictator banned pet ownership? That's something I didn't know. That's a thinker. Right? Kind of see that kind of happening again, but perhaps in a different part of the world. Oh boy. Orders are mostly from computer developers, tech geeks, and also kids who really seem to like it, said Ma. Robot rollout. As China seeks to upskill its workforce, Beijing has been making huge investments in robotics and AI. Robots are already used to deliver parcels, serve in restaurants, offer information in stations, and even take throat swabs for COVID-19. You're gonna let a robot shove its freaking swab down your throat? Oh my goodness, it's gonna kill you. You're nuts. The Wayland Workshop is staffed by young tech enthusiasts, filled with pencil design sketches and a central obstacle route of stairs and slopes for the machines to clunk over its testing. Developers there hope future uses of their four-legged friend could benefit the visually impaired. To help the disabled is an important developing direction for us, says Ma. What the robot dog has the function of vision, hearing, and dialogue too. It can easily interact with disabled people and lead them to a supermarket or the bus. Future software updates will include the dog barking. That's beyond that, even add human voices to allow conversation between pet and owner. This is also a larger enterprise dog model designed for industrial inspections of machinery or pipes. So there you have it. Alpha Dog. The communist tech solution for calling your animals. Now let's end this on a good note about animals that your pets, dogs and cats, and the benefits of having them. Because this is another real reason why. Wow, look at that logo. The dog with the wings. It's crazy. It's another reason why they want to take your pets from you. Because of these benefits. I haven't read these, but Mary, Camille's mother, sent them to me. There are many health benefits of owning a pet. This is from the CDC, by the way. I wonder if they'll take this down soon when the animal plague takes over. They can increase opportunities to exercise, get outside, and socialize. Regular walking or playing with pets can decrease blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and triglyceride levels. Pets can help manage loneliness and depression by giving us companionship. Most households in the United States have at least one pet. Studies have shown that the bond between people and their pets can increase fitness, lower stress, and bring happiness to their owners. Some of the health benefits of having a pet include decreased blood, the same things they said already. So, yep, there's that from the CDC. The Power of Pets, Health Benefits of Human-Animal Interactions. This is from, News and Health. I thought it was the NIH, but no, News and Health. I thought it was the National Institute of Health. Nothing compares to the joy of coming home to a loyal companion. The unconditional love of a pet can... sorry, my throat's dry. Can do more than keep you company. Pets may also decrease stress, improve heart health, and even help children with their emotional and social skills. As estimated, 68% of U.S. households have pet who benefits from an animal, and which type of pet brings health and benefits. Over the past 10 years, NIH has partnered with the Mars Corporation, Waltham Center for Pet Nutrition to answer questions like these, funding research studies. Scientists are looking at what the potential physical and mental health benefits are for different animals, from fish to guinea pigs to dogs and cats. Possible health effects research on human-animal interactions still relatively new. Some studies have shown positive health effects as well as mixed blah 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 blah. So there's lots of benefits. Yeah, they reduce everything from your blood glucose levels and all that stuff. Good stuff. It is a loved one in your home. May not be an actual kid, but they have their own personalities, and they certainly bring a lot of joy, and you can bring a lot of joy to them if you take good care of them. I'd like to thank everyone for stopping in and watching this